Good evening, guys. You're able to hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So today we'll discuss the long pending chapter, that is matrices, chapter number 3. So if I'm not wrong, in most of your schools, most of you know this chapter already, right? So you should ensure that I teach something different from what you have already learned in your school. Ankit, have they started this chapter in your school? So I think everybody knows this, right? Just give me a confirmation.
Yes.
And most of you have written tests
sir.
also. So
Yes,
most
sir.
of you have written test also. Yes.
Yes.
Sir, no, sir.
They have not yet started. Huh?
Yes, sir, not yet started, sir.
Only for you it is not yet started. Anyways, it's not a very tough chapter and all. Let's just go. Okay. So can someone tell me why we learn this chapter? So I know you represent matrix, means you represent the given numbers or functions in the form of something called as rows or columns. Right? This is what we use. But why do we learn this? What is the advantage of it? What do you think are the applications of it? Can you guys tell me some real life applications of this?
I think solving linear equations will be easier.
Okay, linear equations, generally you don't do it in real life, right? Not like we sit and do linear equations every day. But yeah, what you told is right, because
in programming, right? So,
yes, but what you told, Nikhilesh, what you told is right. Actually, matrices were invented only to ensure that the linear equations are solved in a better way. Okay, the invention of matrices took place there, but after the evolution of many other things, like when the discovery has started, no? Actually before matrices, determinants was invented. You know, if you look at the history, that is what the truth is. So after determinants, to ensure something like to bring in certain arrangements, matrices was invented. Okay, that's right. Rohan, you were saying it is involved in programming. Huh? It
Yes,
is involved in programming because most of your computer programs, if you see, you use for loop where in arrays, right? You use the for loop in arrays where you have certain operations which take the help of the rows and the column operations, right? That is there. Any other application?
Statistics, sir.
Statistics. Okay, where do we use in statistics?
Sir, in the mechanical field, budget, declaring budget of nation, like that.
That's right. So budget, everything, where do you generally put it? See, all the data that you're dealing with, data is basically information. Right? So what is the use of information? Why is it so important? Today's world, data plays the most important role. I'm sure you guys will know this, right? So there is some way the data has to be stored. See, let's take a simplest example. Okay, let's say you've completed your first grade a few years back. Like suppose you go back to your school and you want the report of, let's say you have lost all the data of it. The hard copies are lost. So where is the data stored? In a digital format. In the so-called I'll not say so-called, the powerful tool called as the spreadsheet. That is nothing but the Microsoft Excel or some other place where your data will be present there. So where the data of your thing, like your name, marks, address, your father's name, your phone number, everything will be stored in the form of rows and columns, right? So can I call that also as a matrix, right? Are you guys able to understand this? So it has a lot of real life applications. Okay. And I know one of the most toughest concept. What is the toughest concept you felt in this chapter? Those who have already learned.
Elementary transformation, sir.
Elementary transformation to calculate the inverse of a matrix. So if I have actually recorded a video and also put it. So inverse of a matrix is generally what you would have felt as. But I have a question. Does anyone know why you're learning inverse? What is the use of it? What are we going to achieve by doing some inverse or something? If there is something called an inverse, let it exist. Why is it bothering us? What are we going to achieve by learning it? Anybody, can you guys guess it? I know it is slightly tough, but let me see if anybody knows it.
Or is it because we cannot divide in matrices, but instead we can find the inverse and multiply?
Illada. Inverse and multiply. Okay, by doing that, see, inverse with the definitions. So I'm speaking this with the assumption that everybody knows this. Okay, except Ankit. Ankit, don't worry, you'll understand all these things. I'll go in depth. So we know that any matrix multiplied with its inverse is going to give what?
One.
It's also going to
Identity
give,
matrix.
it gives something called as an identity matrix, and we know the fact that inverse is applicable only for a square matrix. All those things we know. So a matrix multiplied with an inverse matrix of it is going to give you an identity matrix of the same order, right? So where did this idea come from? It came from the concept of multiplicative inverse, right? Everybody knows what is multiplicative inverse. If I give you a number 2, the multiplicative inverse of 2 is going to be half, so that when you multiply both, it is going to give you 1. So instead of 2, you have the matrix, half is the inverse, and 1 is the same function that is done by the identity matrix, right? So this is all with respect to mathematics. Do you guys know where it is applied? You guys use WhatsApp, right? Everybody uses WhatsApp, right? I'm sure. So in WhatsApp, have you ever seen this kind of a message coming? Whenever you send a message to a new person, to a person who has not saved your contact, or let's say you're receiving a message from someone where you didn't save their contact, your message has been encrypted. Did you guys ever read this kind of a message? I'm not sure if
Yes,
you have
sir.
observed.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
You would have
Yes,
read it, right? So what is the meaning of encrypting?
Save, sir.
Correct.
So put it in a form which cannot be read easily understand.
Yes. It's some kind of a code where, see, suppose I send you a message like hi. Okay. Hi is what actually computer doesn't understand H and I. It understands only the binary values, right? Zeros and ones. So I'm trying to do something different ways, try to understand. Okay. Not a computer session, but okay. Listen, HI is 2 characters. So it has some binary values associated with it in terms of zeros and ones. Everybody knows this, right? Computer doesn't understand basic English. So when this hi is converted into a binary function, what they will do is they will multiply it with some other number which nobody knows, so that the product of those two is what is called as an encrypted message. You're able to understand? Means you cannot decode it. So if you want to decode it, what are you supposed to do?
Find that number and divide it.
You have to again do the reverse operation of what you did there. See, suppose I add something to this message hi, so that it became an encrypted message. I need to subtract the same number which I added to get back the original message. Are you guys able to understand what I'm trying to say? See, for
Yes,
example,
sir.
this is
Yes, sir.
2. To this 2, if I add 100, it is only I will know that I added 100. Nobody knows. I will tell you that the output value is 1 or 2. That 1 or 2 can contain an information which is 4-lettered. I don't know whether I sent hi. I don't know whether I sent it, because it is also 2-lettered. I will say it's a 2-lettered word, but it is difficult for you to figure it out. But what am I supposed to do? It is only I who know that I added 100 to get that 1 or 2. Then I will decrypt the message by subtracting 100 from this, so I will know that it is that so-called 2-lettered word that I sent. And this kind of a process is called as decryption. You're able to understand? And
Yes.
this kind of a whole game, I'll say this kind of a whole technique where you encrypt and decrypt a message is what is called as cryptography. That is what generally happens in your computer. See, for example, your password is there, right? You type a Gmail password. Like you have, let's say your Gmail password contains a combination of, it's an alphanumeric along with some special symbols and caps and all those things. Whatever you type, the message will get stored in some form of 128-bit encryption. Or else what will happen? What is the dangerous aspect in it? Let's say you have a bank account and you type a password, what will happen? If the message is directly getting stored in some storage device, then what will happen? Tomorrow somebody can take it off and they can start using your account, right? So what they do is they encrypt it. Okay. That encryption in case of matrix is nothing but multiplying with the given matrix. That matrix nobody knows. and you're doing the decryption process, right? I told you a reverse operation. Guys, are you with me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Are you doing, when you're doing the decryption operation, right? The decryption operation is what the decrypting operation is what is called as multiplying the original matrix with its inverse. That is what actually happens in cryptography. Are you guys able to understand why you're learning?
Yes, sir.
So that is the actual meaning. Okay. So if you learn this chapter with this perspective, you'll enjoy it rather than looking at them like numbers. Okay. So everything has an application. Wherever possible, I'll try to give you a real life example. Okay, wherever possible. If not, we'll just go with the book definition. Shall we proceed? Shall I?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So as I told you, it is all about data. Data, the synonym of data is information. You know what is a synonym, right? So synonym is another word which has the exact meaning of the other word, of the given word. So information and data, data is plural. The singular of data is datum. Have this in your mind. And similarly, information is singular as well as plural. So suppose we wish to express the information that Radha has 15 notebooks. I'll take the book example itself. Then what you can do is you can express it like this. Right? Or you, let's assume you're putting it in a Excel sheet. How will you put it? You'll put the name of the person and you'll put number of books. So if I write Radha and here I put 15, then how will I represent it in the form of a matrix? I can write it as. So if I give you a data like this, what is it you'll understand? You'll understand that there is a person with the name Radha who has 15 number of books with her. Right? So what is this called as? The horizontal thing is what is called as rows, and the things which are writing vertically is called as columns. This obviously, when you use Excel, I hope you guys would have used Excel, right? When you want to add something between two columns, when you try to right click, it will ask insert a column between these two, between G and H. So something like this. So column is nothing but something which is added vertically, and the one which you add horizontally is called as rows. Okay. So first row, second row, and third row. So based on this, how is a matrix generally represented? So how do you define a matrix? So matrix is an ordered rectangular array of numbers or functions. So that is what we are going to deal in mathematics, nothing outside it. You are going to deal with numbers or functions. So the number of functions are called as the elements or the entries of the matrix. So there is also a matrix, there is also a matrix, and there is also a matrix. So every matrix has an important property associated with it. What is it called as? It's called as an order of matrix.
Order.
So what do you mean order?
The number of rows and number of columns.
So you write, if you write the matrix as m by n, then what is it? How do you understand it? In general, m by n matrix has the following rectangular array. It has m number of rows and n number of columns. It's just a notation, right? Then a matrix, like how you represent the set, you would have learned, we know sets, right? Generally, you represent the name of a set in terms of name of a set in uppercase and the elements of a set in lowercase. In a similar way, the name of the matrix will always be in uppercase and the elements of it will be in the lowercase. Okay. So how do we write the general form of a matrix? You put this box which represents it's a rectangular array with I and j, and you write the suffix m cross n. So what does this mean? So a matrix A has the elements in the form A, I, j, where it has an order of m rows and n columns. Right? So all these things are known, so we should follow. So if I write something like this, it is an order. It is a matrix of order m by n. Right. So consider the following information regarding the number of men and women workers in the 3 factories. So how do you write this thing in terms of matrix first? So you need, let's look at this like a spreadsheet. That is how I look at it. Okay, let's look at this like an Excel sheet. So if this is Excel sheet, then I will give a name to this matrix and I will write 30, 25, 25, 31, 27, 26. So what is the meaning of this? What will the person who's reading your paper understand? That in factory 1, there are 30 men
30
working.
men workers and 25
The
women workers.
The second factory, yes. There are 30 men workers and 25 women workers. And factory number 2, there are 25 men workers and 31 women workers. In the factory number 3, you have 27 men and 26 women. See, this is one way of representing. Or else, the same data, if I have to represent it in the form of a graph sheet, what I will do is I will take the help of coordinate geometry. But the only difficulty with coordinate geometry is when you draw a graph, it has to be continuous, right? Or else I can represent, can't I represent the same thing like this? Men, women, I can do it, no? It is up to me because I have only 2 data in my hand. 30, 25. I have 25, 31. I'll plot them, right? Are you guys able to understand what I'm trying to say? So 27, 26. I can represent it like this also. But what do you think? Why are we not using this? What is the disadvantage with using coordinate geometry as a replacement for matrix? Guys, are you able to understand what I'm trying to say? The whole game is here about information. I'm saying I will take the same information, I'll represent it as points on a graph sheet, so that the other person will understand what I'm trying to say. But what do you think is the disadvantage with the graph sheet?
The matrices are easier to understand.
Easier to understand is one thing. Second thing is, what if I have another column here? You're able to understand. So what if I have another coordinate geometry is restricted, the graph sheet is restricted to 2 dimensions, right? Whereas when you talk about a matrix, I can have any number of columns. So that is the reason why we prefer to represent the data with the help of a matrix rather than coordinate geometry. Right, that is what we learned in set also, right? Set also speaks about information only. I will collect the data, put it in the form of ordered pair, ordered pair or a triplet, or I can put it in the 4 values put together. I can do that also, right? But the only thing is the way you handle the data will get difficult in the case of sets or coordinate geometry, and that is the reason or the advantage with matrices is what I would say. Right, when you take an Excel sheet, you have no restriction. You keep putting the number of columns, and you can increase the number of rows also. Right, so that is the reason, guys. So example 2, if a matrix has 8 elements, what are the possible orders it can have? So here we are taking the help of ordered pairs, right? So 8 elements means what? You have information about 8 values, 8 elements in your hand. So how can you represent them? You can represent them in 1 row and 8 columns, or
8 row, 1 column.
8 rows and 1 column, or you can represent them in the form. So you take the factors of 8 basically. You can represent them as 2, 4 or 4. Is there any other way? That's it. Had there been 16, what you would have done? Had there been 16. So how will you do it? You can take the factors of it. You can represent
16,
1, 2, 8,
2, 8, 8, 2, 4, 4.
That's it. So these are all the possible ways you can represent. So these are all the number of matrices of different orders that are possible, right? So example number 3, construct a 3 by 2 matrix whose elements are Aij is equal to half into modulus of I minus 3j. So what is the meaning of this? So you are going to use mathematical induction here. You know what is mathematical induction? Just keep plugging in values and you'll get the output. So it's a matrix of order 3 by 2. So the maximum value of I that is possible is 3 and the maximum value of j that is possible is 2. So you can start from where? 1, 2, 3. So A11 is how much? Half into modulus of 1 minus 3. So how much is this going to be, guys? Is it not 1? Similarly, A12 is going to be half into modulus of how much? Can you guys help me out? 3 minus 6. It is 3 by 2. Correct?
Yes.
2 means second, no, sir. J, no, sir. Then 1 minus 6
J
should
is
come,
good,
sir. Sir,
So
A
1
1
minus
2
1.
means
Oh,
row
sorry,
first.
sorry. 1 minus 6. Sorry. 5 minus. It is modulus of 5 by 2. So every value is positive. Okay. So A11, A12, that is the first row, second column. Then A21, A22, second row, first column, and second row, second column. Third row, first column, and third row, second column. You keep writing the values, then this is going to be the required matrix according to the given question. Right. So these are all simple things, right? Ankit, if there is any doubt, please stop me, okay?
Yes, sir.
So I'm calling Ankit's name because he is the only student for whom this chapter is not taught. I know everybody else has learned. Even if others have any doubt, please stop me. But I assume these are all very basics where you will not have doubts. But still, if you have, please do stop. Okay. So what are the different types of matrices, guys? You have a column matrix. You have whenever you talk about the types, the classification should be done on some basis. So the first classification, if I talk about the column matrix, it is based on what? What classification? The number of columns it has and the number of rows it has. So if there is a matrix which has any number of rows but only one column, as the name suggests, n rows and one column, then we call it as a column matrix. Similarly, what should be a row matrix?
1 row and n columns.
So you can have you should have only one row, but you can have n or m columns. So here I will use m because m is a symbol used for rows. So the order of a column matrix is m by 1 or m cross 1. And the order of a row matrix is 1 by n or 1 cross. Right, both are right. So then what is a square matrix? So as the name suggests, again, square has equal number of sides. The square has sides of equal values, right? Equal magnitude. So those matrices which have equal number of rows and columns is what we call it as a square matrix. So square matrix is generally represented as n cross n, or most of the time we call it as a square matrix of order n. Correct, Ada? So matrix in which we have equal number of rows and columns or what are called as square matrix. So for example, this is a matrix, can be called as a square matrix of order 3 because you have 3 rows and 3 columns. Okay. Then for a square matrix, there is one important site that we need to consider. What is it? It's called as the diagonal. So the diagonal can be of two types. See, generally, when you talk about a regular square, the diagonals can be from left to right or right to left. But in terms of matrix, how is the diagonal measured? It is always
Left to right.
it is always measured from left to right. So that is what we call it as the diagonal elements. Okay. So if capital A is equal to Aij is a square matrix of order n, then the elements A11, A1, A22, so on till ANN are said to constitute the diagonal of the matrix A, and they are given like this. So the elements of the diagonal are given by the values 1, 4, 6. So you just write the values with the comma separated. You will not put any bracket because you are not writing any ordered pair or ordered triplet here. Okay. Next. So what is the diagonal matrix space? So what is the diagonal matrix?
Except diagonal elements, everything else are 0.
Yes. So before that, one important point you should have mentioned is it should have been a
Square.
A square matrix is said to be a diagonal matrix. So diagonal is a special type of square matrix where it has non-zero diagonal elements and all other elements to be 0. Right. So example, this is a diagonal matrix. So B is equal to -1, 0 and 0, 2 is a diagonal matrix. C is -1.1, 0, 0, 0, 2, 0, 0, 0, 3. This is a diagonal matrix of order 1, 2, and 3. So what is a scalar matrix?
A diagonal matrix with the diagonal having the same elements.
Yes, where the diagonal has the same elements. Right? Where the diagonal elements are equal is what we call it as a square matrix. Scalar matrix. Then what is an identity matrix? This is an important one, right? Identity matrix is represented by the symbol I and a suffix n here. So what is an identity matrix? A square
Diagonal
matrix. Yes. A diagonal matrix with all the diagonal elements as
1.
1 is what we call it as an identity matrix, and we know the importance of identity matrix, right? So it has an important rule because in the multiplication, this is what is used as the identity to understand. So square matrix in which elements in diagonal are 1 and rest all are 0 is called as an identity matrix. So you generally write it like this. Capital A is equal to Aij of order n cross n is an identity matrix where if Aij is equal to 1, where I is equal to j. So I is equal to j is possible only for the diagonal values A11, A22, A33, A44. And if I is not equal to j, the elements are supposed to be 0. So there is an identity matrix of order 1, there is an identity matrix of order 2, there is an identity matrix of order 3. Okay, so what we can say is, observe that scalar matrix is an identity matrix when the value of k is 1. But every identity matrix is a scalar matrix. So they can put a question like this. So every scalar matrix is an identity matrix, false. Whereas every identity matrix is a scalar matrix, true. Okay. Next. What is a zero matrix?
All the elements are 0.
All the elements are 0. Is it supposed to be a square matrix?
Any matrix.
It can be a rectangular matrix also. It can be a matrix of different rows and columns, different number of rows and columns. Correct? Now, I know you guys know the definition of it. Now I have a question. What do you think is the use of a zero matrix?
Equating any values, sir.
So it is like the 0 for a matrix. So
Okay. See, if I add 5 to minus 5, what do I get?
0, sir.
I get 0. Right? So if I call this 5 as the real number, or I'll call it as some integer, then can I call this minus 5 as an additive inverse of 5? Accepted this?
Yes.
So minus 5 is the additive inverse of 5 and 5 is the additive inverse of minus 5. So when can you call those two as the additive inverse of each other?
The sum is
we
0.
And that's sum is
The
0.
sum, yes, means when you're adding two numbers, if the sum comes out as 0, then you can talk about the additive inverse of that number. Okay, then had there been something like additive inverse of a matrix, then what will you do? If A is a matrix, then you will add this matrix to another matrix which is minus A, which should give you what? Will it give you only a value 0 or will it give you a 0 matrix?
0 matrix.
0 matrix.
You're able to understand why 0 matrix is important. You're able to understand? So when you add two numbers, you get another number. But whereas when you add two matrices, you get a matrix. So for you to define the additive inverse of a matrix, had there been something like that existing, the inverse you're learning is actually multiplicative inverse. Okay, I don't want to confuse you in this aspect. Have a clear-cut picture. The inverse that you're learning throughout matrices or determinants is multiplicative inverse. Whereas if I have to bring a question and ask you, define the additive inverse of a matrix, if you see it somewhere, then you need the help of a zero matrix. That is the meaning, guys. Okay. So these are all the different types of matrices that are there in the syllabus. Now the next question is, if I talk about the equality of matrices. So I have to speak about the equality of two matrices. What do I mean by that? It can be 2 or 3 or whatever it is. When can I say that the given two matrices are equal? There are two
Order
important.
of-
Yes. First thing is order should be the same. Order should be the same order. Like you cannot say 2 cross 3 matrix is same as 3 cross 2. If it is 2 cross 3 on the left hand side, right side also should be 2 cross 3 only. So if there are two matrices A and B whose elements are Aij and Bij, they both are said to be equal if they are of the same order in the first place. Second, is that sufficient? If the first condition is satisfied, then we need to ensure that each element, I repeat, each element in the matrix A should be equal to the corresponding elements in the matrix B. What do I mean by corresponding elements? First row, second column matrix of A should be equal to the first row, second column of matrix B. That is the meaning. See, for example, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1 are equal matrices, but 3, 2, 0, 1 and 2, 3, 0, 1 are not equal matrices, though their order is the same. Known fact. So how is this going to help us? So if you take an example, like they give you some unknown values, they give you a linear equation. Then you're asked to find the values of this unknown by using the equality of matrices. What will you do? If suppose you want the value of x, what can you do? X plus 3 is equal to 0. X will be minus 3. Z plus 4 is 6. So Z is equal to minus 2. So 2y minus 7 is equal to 3y minus 2. You can find the value of y. Similarly, a minus 1 is equal to minus 3. Right? Similarly, 2c plus 2 will be 0. B minus 3 will be equal to 2b plus 4. That's it. Find all the 6 values. So it is actually like, instead of giving you 6 different linear equations in one variable, they put everything in the form of a matrix and they gave it to you and asked you to solve. So you're just taking the idea of equality of matrices to find those 6 unknowns. Or else what would have happened? You need 6 different linear equations to solve them. Right? So other problems, I hope you guys can do it. First exercise is very easy. Right? So you guys can try and you can let me know. Now, the next question is, if I give you some numbers in your hand, if I give you 2 numbers, real numbers, then what are all the different operations you can perform between them? Even for that matter, fundamental addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Right? So in a similar way, instead of giving you real numbers, if I give you the matrices in your hand and ask you to perform the operations, what are all the operations you can do? You can perform addition, you can perform subtraction, multiplication, but not, you cannot perform division. The same is the case with respect to vectors also. Right? This fact is known to us. So what do you mean by addition of vectors, addition of matrices? So what is the thing you need to keep in your mind?
Order should be same.
Order should be the same, right? If you have 2 matrices of the same order, then you can add them. So what do I mean by adding them? So if A is given, B is given, both are of order what? 2 rows and 3 columns. Here also you have 2 rows and 3 columns. So if I add them, what is the meaning of it?
So the corresponding elements were adding, sir, of both the.
So corresponding first row, first column, first column, add them. Root 3 plus 2. First row, second column, first row, second column, 1 plus root 5. So answer will be 2 plus root 3, 1 plus root 5. Minus 1 plus 1, that is 0. Then 2 minus 2, 0. 3 plus 3, 6. 0 plus half, half. Okay. So there is an important note that is given. We emphasize that if A and B are not of the same order, then A plus B is not defined at all. So there is known. So similarly, we may also observe that addition of matrices is an example of binary operation on the set of matrices of the same order. Okay, binary means they are saying the sum of these 2 values. That's it. Okay. Next is multiplication of a matrix by a scalar, not to be confused with what? Not to be confused with multiplication of matrices. Yes. So here, what do you mean by multiplication of matrix by a scalar? So you have a matrix, and what do you mean by a scalar base?
Non-number, sir. Any
some
number,
real
non-zero number.
Some real number, yes. So some real number is given. When you multiply a matrix with some real number, what do you get? So I will take an example directly. So if there is a matrix A that is given 3, 1, 1.5, root 5, 7, minus 3, 2, 0, 5. If I ask you what is 3 times A, what will you say?
3 multiplied with each element of
3
the
multiplied
matrix.
each element. Yes, that's right. So here, I would like to stress on one important point. Not sure how many of you have gone through the video that I uploaded. See, 3x plus y is equal to, let's say, 2. So what are they? They are linear equations in two variables. If I ask you to solve them, what will you do? What are all the methods you will follow?
Elimination.
Substitution.
You will follow substitution method, you will follow elimination method, or you can do for cross multiplication or something like formula, whatever it is, whatever is available in your hand, you'll do it. If suppose I ask you to solve it using elimination, what do you mean by elimination? What are you
You have to
eliminating?
You have to
Eliminate
multiply.
you will eliminate one of the variables. See, suppose I have this thing multiplied with 3 and this I have to multiply with 2 so that I can subtract, and what will get cancelled? You know logically what will get cancelled.
X.
The x value cancelled and the y value is going to remain, and you will get the value of y outside, right? So this is by using elimination method. Whereas if I have to put the same thing in the form of a matrix, what will I do? I can write it as 2, 5, 7 and 3, 2 and 2. What is the name of this matrix, guys? Do you guys remember what I told? I will call it as an augmented matrix, because what I'm trying to say is the first column corresponds to the coefficients of x. The second column corresponds to the coefficients of y. The third column corresponds to the coefficient of constants. Correct? So I'll call this as an augmented matrix. So when I say multiplying a given matrix with 3 means you are multiplying this 3 to both these equations. So when you multiply 3 to both these equations, what exactly are you doing? You're multiplying, you're increasing the coefficient of x, y, and constant by a factor of 3. That is why when a matrix is multiplied with a number, all the elements need to be multiplied. Whereas in the case of determinant, are you doing this? Are you guys able to understand the difference? Those who know what is a determinant, in determinants, are you doing the same thing? If you multiply 3 with a determinant, what will you get? You will multiply only with one particular row. Correct?
Yes.
So this is where you need to be careful. Okay. So when you're multiplying a number with a matrix, every element should get multiplied. Okay. So what do you mean by negative of a matrix? Let me see how much you guys understood from today's discussion. So if I give you a matrix A, what do I mean by the negative of that matrix?
Additive inverse, sir.
Very good. That is what I was expecting. So negative of matrix is another name to say the negative of a matrix, the additive inverse of a matrix. So negative of a matrix is denoted by minus A, and we write it as minus A is equal to minus 1 into A. Here they wanted to emphasize on the scalar multiplication, but I'm just telling you a different name. That's it. It's called as additive inverse. Clear, guys? I hope you can handle this, right? So what do you mean by difference of matrices? So again, difference is also something similar to addition only, like how you add two numbers, you're going to subtract two numbers. Like we'll do the subtraction of two matrices, but what is necessary to be ensured? What is it we need to
Same
ensure?
order.
That is more important. When they are of same order, yes, you can perform the additive, the difference of two matrices. So A is equal to this matrix of order 2 by 3, and B is a matrix of order 2 by 3. Then what do we mean by 2A minus B, guys? So you need to multiply this. Every element
of A and subtract that with B.
Yes, subtract the corresponding elements from B. Correct? So that part you can do it. So after these two operations are over, we need to know what are all the properties associated with it. Generally, when we say properties, the laws that are associated, commutative law, associative law, distributive law, all these things are going to exist. So what do you mean by commutative law? It's the reverse operation, right? A plus B and B plus A, they are said to be commutative of each other, right? If A is a matrix, A and B are matrices of the same order, then A plus B is the same as B plus A. Well-known fact, right? You add 1 to 2 or 2 to 1, both are going to give you the same value. Hence, it is the same. What about the associative? So for you to speak about associative law, you need 3 matrices of the same order. So if you add the first 2 matrices and add the resultant of that to the third matrix, or you add the first matrix to the resultant of the sum of the second 2 matrices, it's the same. That is, A plus B plus C is the same as A plus B plus C. Right? It's simple. So existence of additive identity. Now you guys know what is additive identity. See, there are 2 things: additive inverse and additive identity. Correct? What do you mean by additive identity? For a number 5, what is the additive identity of it?
0, sir.
Yes. So what is the definition of additive identity? A number which is added to a given number, so that the output is the number itself. The output is the given number itself. So to 5, if you add a 0, then the output will be 5. So existence of additive identity. So if a matrix A is given of any order n by n, then what is going to be the additive identity of it? The additive identity of it should be a 0 matrix. Correct, Ada? Because to a number you will add number, to a matrix you should add that matrix. So you can add a 0 matrix of what order? Of exactly the same order as that of A. Correct? Then the 0 matrix is what is called as the additive identity for the given matrix. Right? 4th. What is additive inverse? This you already know. So to a given matrix, if you add the negative of that matrix, then you will get a 0 matrix. That negative of that matrix is what we call it as the additive inverse. Correct, Ada? Done? So these are all the properties of addition of matrices. Then what about the properties of scalar multiplication of a matrix? So what is the property of scalar multiplication of a matrix? So there are 2 matrices A and B that are given, which are of the same order, and let K and L be 2 scalars. Then you add A and B, that is one operation. To the sum of A and B, if you multiply K, it is going to be the same as multiplying K with A separately, multiplying K with B separately, and adding them. It is something like distributive law. But I cannot call it distributive law because you're not performing the operations between the same set. One is a number and one is a matrix. Correct? So K times A plus K times B. Similarly, you add the scalars and multiply with the matrix, or you multiply the individual scalars with the same matrix and add them. They both are same. So these are the 2 important properties that are associated. Sariyana? So I hope these problems and all you guys can handle, right? You can try it. Now comes an important thing. What do we mean by multiplication of matrices? Can someone tell me?
Multiplying the corresponding row of one matrix to the corresponding column of the other matrix.
Corresponding. And what will you do? You will add them. Right? Add. Okay. Sure. I told you, right? I told you that wherever possible, I'll explain you the real life applications. Okay. Can you give me another example? I'm just thinking, right? Can you give me another example of where matrix is applied? It's also there in your day-to-day life. Can you think of another example?
The
Like in bills, sir.
Bills, sir. You're talking because you're seeing prices here and you're taking bills.
So like
Okay,
quantity and amount bought.
That is also there. That's like when you go to a shop, you buy the amount of quantity multiplied with something. Yes, that is also an application of multiplication. But I will take something interesting. Okay. So yes, like you take pictures, right? So the pictures you take in your phone will get stored in what format? So there are basically two formats in which it can get stored. One is digital format or an analog format. Did you guys ever see in olden days and all, they used to have cameras where the reels used to be there. And what the negative will be there, and they will take that negative and wash it under a liquid in a dark room, and they'll get the photo outside. They'll try it for some time and they'll get it. Have you ever seen this? Maybe in old movies or something? Not sure
Yes.
if you have observed. You would have seen it,
Yes,
right?
sir.
But in today's world, everything is digital, right? We take a photo, we instantly are able to see it. You click in fact, you're able to see it even before you click it. You have a preview option on all those things. Now, when I say digital, how does the camera understand it? Like it needs to store the data of your picture. When I say data of your picture, see, let's say you're capturing the picture of a tree. So what are all the information related to a tree? A tree has these leaves in a particular green color, right? The branch is in this particular color. The roots are in this particular, if at all it is able to see. And the ground will also come, it will have a particular color. All those exact colors, the image is supposed to get captured, and that is what is getting stored in your pic. Let's say you have a portrait mode of your pic. Correct, Ada? Now, in this portrait mode, have you ever tried to zoom in and see? Like you see the ad or all these, they say 15 megapixel, 12 megapixel, all these 108 megapixel and all they are bringing in today. Right? What do these megapixels actually, what do these pixels actually mean?
So that collection of points, sir, array of points, anything.
Yes, I can say an array of points means in a particular area, how many pixels you are able to store. So more number of pixels you are able to store, more will be the resolution of it. So what do I mean by resolution?
Quality, sir.
The quality of it. That is, when you see, for example, I will take the screen itself. I may say, are you able to see it clearly? Right, the print is good actually. Okay, so if I try, see, I'm not able to zoom it beyond this, but sometimes if you're able to zoom beyond this, you will start observing these box kind of things. And I'm sure you would have seen that. You would have seen small box kind of things which will be of different colors, right?
Yes, sir.
yes,
Correct. So when they are of different colors, what can happen is, like that is how the information is getting stored. So those are all called as pixels, right? If suppose you have another picture, okay, you have another picture, okay, where let's say it is a background. Now let's say you have captured the image of a tree as I told you. Okay, so along with the tree, what would have happened? Some background, the clouds, all those things would have come, right? Let's say you don't like the background. You didn't like the background at the instant when you took it. Suppose you have a plain background. Let's say you have another, let's say a red color background for instance. Okay. Then what you can do is you will have softwares. What will you do? You will try to bring this and keep it here. Right. You'll keep it and you will have an option like send it back, keep it in the front. All those options are there, right? Are you guys able to understand what I'm trying to say? Yes or no? Now, when you try to bring this and keep it here, and you try to reduce the transparency, if possible, I'll show it to you. Wait, just a minute. I'll show it. Let's see. How many of you have, know how to edit a video? Suppose, Sida, I have this kind of a background. Okay, what is the background I have put? You are able to see 2 layers now.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
I have that yellow color background, right? If I click on this, let's say I can't actually zoom it here, but no, I can't zoom it here. Let's say I have this particular background, yellow color background, and to which I'm adding a pink color background like this. I'm adding a layer like this. Let's say you have the tree here. Sharia. You have the tree here. Now what I'm trying to do is I'll bring it here. Are you able to see the difference? Guys, observe this clearly, okay? The tree
Sir,
is
it
drawn on which
overlaps.
background?
Sir, it overlaps the yellow surface, sir, but it doesn't overlap the tree.
No, see what is. No, actually, the tree is on which surface? Actually, the tree I drew it on the yellow color surface, correct? Now,
Yes, sir.
I don't like that color. I bring it here, but see, I'm doing something like this. Then I will take this blend mode. Did you see what happened? Did you see what happened? Actually, what was the color that I added? I
The
added pink,
color
no?
got
Right? I did this multiply operation. So what happened here?
the color got mixed, sir. Yellow
The
and
color
pink.
got mixed. Yes, right. So the color got mixed. That is what we are able to see. But how did the software understand? So the software will have
RGB
all the,
values.
RGB values. RGB values, if you know what it has 0 to 255 values. Let's not get into those details. But every information is stored in the form of a small pixel, and those pixels can be treated as each elements of a matrix, where you're able to perform this multiplication operation and you're instructing the software. So this will be the backend code of it. You're able to understand. So I just wanted to give you a real life example. So this will be an example of this matrix multiplication. This is one of the examples. Okay. Actually, I did a video also on something interesting. I thought I will release it, but it didn't work out, unfortunately. See, I'll ask you a question. You guys are watching movies, right? Everybody, how many of you watch movies? There's Amazon Prime, Netflix, and all those things. That everybody does it. I'm sure about it, right? See, suppose you watch a genre of movie. Tell me one thing: is everybody having this? At least one of the applications in your mobile, Prime, Netflix, Hotstar, whatever it is.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You have it. Right? You have it, right? Have you guys ever got suggestion from it? Have you ever seen a notification, push notification coming saying that this movie has got released? This for you, something
Yes,
like
sir.
that. How did it know?
Cookies, sir.
Cookies on and the cookies backend, what is happening? It's matrix multiplication. I'm saying it is one of the steps. Though artificial intelligence plays an important role, those cookies are there, right? Cookies is an information again. It's a data, correct? Data and information. That information has to be fed into the software in the name of artificial intelligence, and it has to do something. And the something it's matrix multiplication is the backend operation which is performing. Purida. So that is what actually is a real-time application. These are all like book examples that you guys can definitely understand. But I thought it is more relevant if you guys understand in today's world's examples. Are you guys able to understand? So when that matrix multiplication happens, right, there are certain characteristics it takes into consider. I actually did a video. If possible, I'll release it. But some editing is going on. I'll try to release it where I would have explained some simple operations. Okay, if possible, I'll do it. Then you can see it. So in that, what happens is it will have certain information stored in certain format, and it will perform this operation of matrix multiplication and take the priority list into consideration and tell you that yes, this is the right suggestion for you. Are you able to understand? So coming back to the basics, okay, coming back to your textbook. is for you to perform, if I give you two matrices, for you to perform the so-called operation of matrix multiplication. I hope there is no confusion between multiplication of matrix by scalar and matrix multiplication. So if you have to perform this matrix multiplication, what are the first thing that you need to ensure?
So the row of one matrix should be equal to the column of other matrix.
Which matrix? Which one is in the order?
Row of the
Column of
first
first
matrix.
matrix should be equal to row of the second matrix.
Yes. Yes. So this is the thing. There is a point. So the product of two matrices A and B is defined if the number of columns of A is equal to the number of rows of B. So that is when you can perform A into B. Okay. If A is a matrix of order m by n and B is a matrix of order n by p, then the number of columns present in the first row, the first matrix, is equal to the number of rows present in the second matrix. Then when you perform this kind of an operation, let's say you're getting another matrix. Like when you add two matrices, you get a matrix. Subtract two matrices, you get a matrix. Similarly, when you multiply, obviously you're going to get a matrix. And the third matrix, if I call it as C, which is nothing but the product of A and B, that so-called C matrix will have an order of the number of rows from the first matrix and the number of columns from the second matrix. It will have an order of m by p. Okay, well, so just to explain with an example, C is 1 minus 1, 2, 0, 3, 4. D is 2, 7, minus 1, 1, 5, and minus 4. So when you multiply the C and D together, then how are you supposed to perform? You will multiply the elements of the row with the corresponding column and add them. So what will you do? 1 into, can someone tell me that? 1 into 2 plus minus 1
Minus
Minus
into
1 into
two.
minus 1.
Minus 1 plus
Minus
5
one.
into 2.
5 into 2 into 5.
2 into 5. Let's go in the order now. 2 into 5. So that will be the first element of that matrix multiplication. Then you will multiply the elements of the same row with the elements of the second column. Then 1 into 7 plus minus 1 into 1 plus 2 into minus 4. Correct? 0 into 2 plus 3 into minus 1 plus 4 into 5. And what will be the last thing? 0 into 7 plus 3 into 1 plus 4 into minus 2. Okay. So when you add them, that will be the matrix, whatever it is, CD, that will call as E, which has an order of 2 by how much term? 2. Because there is a matrix of order 2 by 3 and there is a matrix of order 3 by 2. So it will, the final output will be a matrix of order 2 by 2. Right? So I hope it was useful, right?
Yes, sir.
So you guys, right? You guys can try the other problem. Just try it out. No, try it out in terms of exam point of view. If there is any doubt, you can reach out to me. Then we will look at certain properties in the next class, and we'll go to the inverse. Then you have this transpose, skew symmetric, and symmetric. Then we have the inverse. But then we are done with this chapter, right? So you can just go through it. If there is any doubt, reach out to me. Seriya? I'll see you all in the
Okay.
next class.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.